Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your host, Edna White, and we are on Wounded to Wonderful, where we talk about real things with, guess what? Real people. And we have real talks about conversations no one wants to have, but should have, so that your life is better. So, welcome today. I am so excited. We already had a conversation, guys. So, off camera, I got to start putting on the pre shows so you can show what we really be doing in the background. But I'm so excited to have Teri Moton here, who is your business problem solver. And I'm gonna add Circle TN. Okay, Circle TN to this wonderful lady. And she is going to share with us today how she shows up in the world. So welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Edna. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're here. So tell us how you show up in the world as a business problem solver. I'm ready for that. I'm ready.
Great question. I would probably say the way I show up is as I call myself, I'm a curator of financial and marketing resources.
Okay.
So that's how I show up for businesses. I've been blessed for the last 20 years to just be able to assemble different resources, different information. I am one of the biggest super connectors that a business owner will find out there. And the way I show up is to be able to give the information that I have to businesses and aspiring business owners out there so they can succeed.
Wow. Well, let me just tell you, and all you guys know me, right? Is she me? Oh, is she me? She's me. This is what I'm talking about, being authentic in what you do. You get connected to the people who are just like you in the world. Now, where are you coming from? What state?
So with my Southern twang, people always say that, Teri, we know you're from the South. We can hear it.
Yeah. And you're South. It's the South. It's not the South. It's the South.
That's
it's
right.
Thing.
So I'm from South Texas. So
okay.
Born and raised in South Texas, attempted to live a little bit up north until the first winter hit that I was up north. And I said, oh no, I got to come back to South Texas.
And is it always warm there? Is it warm?
Oh, it is beyond warm. So yeah, we are doing triple digit heat
no.
for about the past 2 months.
Yeah, no, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I usually say I'm jealous about a lot of things. When it comes to heat, no, I'm not jealous. That's not.
Trust me, I understand.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here, and so I'm excited to find out how you are problem solving for businesses. Can you expound on and share how you showed up to do that for every business?
Absolutely, and I'm gonna actually tell you how it started. My dad, my parents are entrepreneurs.
Okay.
My dad's 76, going to be 77. My mom is 75.
Okay.
And they've owned a restaurant for going on 48, 49 years.
Wow.
So
generational wealth, guys. Generational wealth.
Yes. And many lessons I learned in that business, but I saw how as they were building the business, my mom was a full-time nurse. My dad, when he started the business, he was working out at one of our local plants. And, when he needed to, he would have a side hustle. He was also a car salesman. So he'd sell cars on the weekend.
Right.
That's where I learned my capitalism from.
Yeah.
But, he wanted to provide for the family.
Yeah.
But Edna, I'm sure just like you've seen in so many Black and brown businesses, they just didn't have access to certain information.
You're right. You're right.
Certain resources. And so they had to kind of scrap and scrape and struggle more than they should have. And, one of the reasons I want to be present and help businesses wherever I can with my resources is, I think back to when I was in junior high and high school. And my dad came to and I was in everything. I was an athlete, I was, in a number of academic things. He came to maybe 5 events between junior high and high school.
Right.
But because he was out trying to make a living and build this business.
Exactly.
But I would have rather had him there. So my thing is, I want to provide any resources, information that I can to help family-owned businesses, to help those families especially be more present, with children, and be able to build a legacy that they can one day be able to sell, transfer to children, but be able to make smart choices with. So that's how I kind of came to what I do, or the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah. That's the best reason why. It's ending those generational curses and habits and patterns. Yes, it's a great thing to see that your parents are working and doing a business, but it's on the other side, it's bad to see them struggle
Right.
when the information is out there. And I know for me, when I started my business as a real estate broker,
Mm-hmm.
no one would tell me anything. They were like, I would ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, ask a question. No one would tell me anything. I'm like, is it me?
Mm-hmm.
But it really is them. It's a generational thing. I got to keep this for myself.
Yes.
Like, I got to keep it like
Right.
right here. No,
I
if I
can't
tell
let you
her,
get a leg
yeah,
up.
if I tell her, it was like, it literally, I started thinking crabs in a barrel always like,
Yes.
they're trying to save themselves,
Mm-hmm.
rightfully so, but they're pulling the people down that's really around them that could
Right.
really help them.
That's right.
So I learned really early on in my business that, oh, wow, I got to change this. So I always, every time I learned something, I shared something to my
Yes.
own detriment sometimes. But I just, I didn't, had to learn in the process. Okay, you take advantage first because God brought it to you
That's
first.
right.
Take advantage.
That's right. That's right.
Take advantage of it and then you give it out. So I
Yeah.
learned that the hard way, but the good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I learned it and I was able to give it out. You're doing exactly that. And doesn't it bless you to kind of like when you see one of your clients
Mm-hmm.
get it and the light comes on and
Yes.
they I think that's a generational pattern that has been
That's
broken.
broken. That's right.
And then their children will know that they broke
Yes.
that and overcame that, and they teach them, and then their children teach their children.
That's
It,
right.
I get goosebumps thinking about you just broke a generational habit. I
That's
say that
right.
all the time, and they're like, "What?" I said, "You just broke something
Yes.
that was bothering you when you were a child,
Yep.
picked up, carried with you like a backpack, and you just broke that, and you've created a business, and
Yes.
you crossed over to a goal, right?"
That's right.
So when you solve problems,
Mhm.
let's take an example. I'm an ice cream maker,
Okay.
and I want to get my business expanded outside of my driveway. I
Mhm.
want to get.
Mhm.
How are you what would you give advice you would give me as an ice cream, starting my business and I
Your
want to get
ice
it out,
cream business.
my ice cream business?
There you go. So, one of the big things is that I find a lot of business owners haven't done is they haven't done enough market research to see if people outside of friends and family will pay them for their product or for their service. Because
Yes,
I see so many people just because, you've been told you're the best ice cream maker in the world. Will
yes.
people pay for that though?
Yeah,
Well,
licorice. If I had
yes,
a flavor licorice, everybody don't eat
that's
licorice. Come
right.
on,
That's
do
right.
your research.
That's
I
right.
love it. Love
Yeah, so
it.
you've got to, I talked to you about, finding who's your market.
Hmm.
Who are you going to sell to that you can kind of sell to all day long? The other little known thing that businesses always leave on the table, I found,
Yeah.
Edna, is especially when they have a product.
Yes.
If they have a product, how can you continue to monetize and get more revenue? And it's by using the information that you've got and
Right.
using that knowledge that you have. So it's also as you're getting that product-based business up and going, it's
Hmm.
also, well, as you have gone from say step 1 to step 3, well, there's some more people who are at step 1 now who would love to be coached by you,
Hmm.
Ms. Ice Cream, vendor.
Yes.
And then you can now start coaching them to get
Hmm.
them up to, again, where you are.
Right.
And because I just see so many people miss out on that opportunity to expand their revenue. And
Sure.
I fairly early kind of start to talk to people about being able to
Hmm.
use that knowledge that you have and monetize knowledge.
Right. Now, you said something really good, monetization.
Mhm.
I had someone on my show. very bright man. And he says to me, there are 33 ways to make money for your type of business. Are you doing it? You know, here I go, the teacher being taught by somebody. I said, you got me, because I had to think. There are. And I said, okay. I reported back to him today. I said, I wanted to tell you that I had 4. Now I have 6. So I'm telling him about it. He said, I don't even have that one. Let me take that. Monetization is so important. It's not one way. Right. So me as an ice cream saleswoman or sales, I'm an ice cream maker, and in my driveway, that's one form of monetization.
That's right.
Second one that you just told us about, someone else who's doing the same business, partner with them, say, hey, you may not be where I am, but let's do something together. I'll do licorice, which nobody really likes. You do candy corn flavor. And let's see, and let's do this on Halloween. You know, come up with an idea to work with someone else.
Right.
And give them that experience to get where you are. And even now, once you're there, they're there, you excel because, wow, I can do that again. I can do that again with so-and-so and so-and-so. So you start gaining knowledge. And that's what you do as a problem solver. You think outside the box, because our problems are really one area. When I talked about the 33, it's 33.
Now I'm going to have to start writing down that, because see, that piqued my interest. Trust me, when we get off of here, I'm going to be writing down, trying to figure out all the ways for my business.
33. Right. Yeah. And I'm going 33. I still 30. I couldn't even talk after that. I might have to end the show on this, but 33.
I think so. Yes, you need to.
And he says, yeah. So I'm sitting there. Okay, I got 4. But then I talked to him again today, and I said, now I have 6, and I shared what I was doing. He says, I'm taking that. I said, go ahead. He said, wouldn't I say it again? Yes. But we help each other. Exactly. And when you're your genuine self, like you said, you come to the table genuine and you're yourself. You don't worry about if they're going to get ahead of you. You don't worry about it.
There's more than enough in the world. There's more than enough
in
your neighborhood. There's more than enough in the city, in your state. There is more than enough. And people are only going to respond. There's some people who are only going to respond to your voice, to your message. We could do the exact same thing.
Exactly.
But what's for me is for me. What's for you is for you. But then when we can come together and collaborate,
power,
the power, to so much more. Yes.
Total power. Let me tell you, I have found that just working with other people, just like pulling I'm a creator. I'm an author of, like, this is my 25th book.
Oh, wow.
Which are curated with a publishing company, and I kind of curated them together. So for that word curate.
There you go.
And I am so into partnering with other people on ideas. Yes. I get on at least 5 calls a week.
Okay.
With anybody, and then we talk about our business like we're doing in front of you, like we're doing right now. And I talk about, and my head is like, okay, what can we do together? And I come up with this idea, and we do it together. So I can have 6 events planned for, let's say, 3 months, and all in different states. Because why? I'm open to making it work. Yes. And if you do what you do better than anybody else, what do you need to worry about?
That's right.
What do you need to worry about? It's like, I can work with the ice cream maker. I can say, okay, I'm an author, but let me see, ice cream making. Okay, this is what we could do, and make it work.
Yes,
make it work.
That's right.
I just had someone interview, and she's like, well, she works with caregivers. She works with caregivers, and in between the ages of 40 and on, they care for parents or whatever.
Yes.
So she says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a networking event,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna start cooking, and people are gonna start coming over.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Taiwan. I was like,
Okay.
smart.
Yes.
Because we have services, me and you have services.
Right.
And I'm like, because that's another of the 33 veins.
That's right.
Now, I'm not going to say I don't cook nothing. Now, I ain't going there for. I might scrap up some ice cream and put it on a cone or something. I ain't going to say I'm cooking. So
right.
you say that. I might bring some collard greens for my mother if y'all try it. And I warm it up a little bit.
That's
I ain't going to say I'm going to cook it. But I will say that was a brilliant idea. Thinking outside the box, because we're in services. How do we get someone's attention?
Exactly.
And we're in services.
Absolutely.
So you would go to a networking event, even if I'm gluten-free. So even if I make what is it called? My granddaughter does it, a grilled cheese sandwich, and everything's gluten-free and lactose-free.
Yep.
They smell that. I cut that in like 18 pieces because I ain't cooking it again. I only making one.
There you go.
But they come over, and then you can talk about how eating like this, and then segue into what you do. You as a problem solver can do the same thing. I'm imagining it from Texas. I'm not going to say you can cook. I'm not going to say it because that's an assumption. That's an assumption. I will tell everybody I can cook to make you not be hungry. I won't burn you. I will not. I don't have a specialty dish. I'll tell you now. So if you're looking at me and you want somebody to make you some collard, I'm not going to do it. I won't order out, but I will cook very light, and you won't have no
make sure you won't starve.
Yeah, and you won't have spices in it because I can't have none. So you'll be nice and thin. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say. So those are what I'm saying. I said all of that is because there's 33 ways to make money.
Right.
And you as a problem solver think outside the box. You just, we live in bubbles, like, right? We always try to live in bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
And I find with the business organizations, they all live in bubbles. They have all this information.
Right.
I'm imagining you worked for some of those agencies and kind of said, okay, no, I got that. Let me put that down here for my record. Did you do that? How did you obtain all this beautiful information?
That, Edna, is exactly what I did. So I had started out, I was a financial advisor.
Okay.
And when I started my financial planning practice, I had moved to another city. So at the time I was living in Dallas. I only knew two people. I knew my sister at the time who was going to college in Dallas, and my boyfriend at the time. And I had to try to figure out, how am I going to grow this practice? And I'm a warm, fuzzy person. I'm not cold calling you. I'm not knocking on strangers' door. I'm not doing that. I'm warm, fuzzy. So as I started getting clients and started asking for referrals, what I started doing was thinking, I want to put a hedge of protection around my clients. And anything they need, I want to be able to give them a well-vetted referral to, or give them the resource, because I didn't want to have a great client and they need a referral to a hairdresser, and they talk to their sister and their sister say, oh yeah, I know this hairdresser, and hey girl, I got this great financial advisor you need to come work with. No, I was putting that hedge of protection. So literally 20 years ago, I started just accumulating just different resources, different information. I transitioned out of financial services and I went into medical sales. I was in pharmaceutical sales.
Cooper. Sorry about that. Go ahead. I don't want you to hear him.
Oh, that's all right. I was in pharmaceutical and medical sales for about 10 years. But what made me different when I would go into doctors' offices, because I wasn't just going in, bebopping in with the samples that I had, or dropping off cookies. I would talk to them about the health of their practice, the health of their business. Wow. And I would learn different things that would help them in reimbursement, that would help them, different services, they could use to, help increase patient outcomes. But you're right. These different positions I would pull resources from. And now I had this big toolbox, this kind of armamentarium of resources, of information, of contacts, that if I'm talking to somebody, I can immediately, it is literally like just kind of, I can almost see a puzzle the puzzle pieces when I talk to somebody of, okay, I need to connect them to this person. They need this resource. Here's the information they need. And it's just a matter of putting all of those pieces together and providing it to them.
Right. And I will tell you, that's a true alchemist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it.
Alchemist.
Yes.
I can look at people, same thing. And people tell me, oh, you bring out the best in people. I said, all I do is tell them what I see.
Right. Yes.
You're an alchemist because you can put together, if they don't have
that's right,
the full quality of life, you know how to give it to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Without a degree, without being in office.
Right. Yes. Yes.
You know how to bring it to them, and it fits. It just fits. That's a true alchemist. That's what a true alchemist is. And this is a ministry, what you do. You know, it's not where we were taught that it happens, not in the pulpit, but it happens on the pulpit of life. So you're doing it right. And that's beautiful what you do. And I love to see people bring all of what they know and have applied to their lives and then gives it out with these two hands.
That's right.
2 eyes.
Yes.
This one mouth.
Yes.
And these 2 ears.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And that's what we're required to do. And guess what? You won't have to come back here and do this over again.
Yes. And
you wouldn't have to take a test run and say, oh no, you got to come back. You know, you won't.
And I tell people all the time, I said, you know, business owners, I said, as a business owner, what they may need, I may personally do maybe 5 to 10% of what they need. But I've got access to 90 to 95% of the other things that I get them introduced and plugged into.
Because it's a resource. You're literally the hub of all the resources.
Yes.
And what you do is give them information. Now you can do it, but guess what you're doing? You're working smarter.
Yes.
And not harder.
And that was not easy to learn.
Oh, girl. Let's talk about that. Talk about learning that.
I just now, because so many entrepreneurs that are out there, aspiring entrepreneurs, we have so many different skill sets, especially those who are like coaching and consulting.
Yeah.
We've got so many different skill sets. And I have learned, literally, it has taken me to 2022. It's taken me like 10 years to learn. Just because I have the skill set to do it doesn't mean I've been called to do that thing. There's somebody else that is a better fit for them. Again, I can do it and it'll come out okay, but somebody else can do it. And it takes their business to a divine level in that thing.
I will tell you that I had one client that she was my life coaching, client in the studio. And so I'm working with her. I never was at her home. So I was always, out. And so I went to her home and when I went to her home, it was hoarded. And I'm like, so I already have anxiety. So I'm working with her and I says, let's try to do a corner, and after, the corner was maybe 3 feet by 1 feet deep. Okay, little, it was very small. It was a CD rack.
Okay.
So I was doing it as a test to me because not that I have anxiety, I'm quick-tempered, okay?
Yes,
I'm a Scorpio, very bossy.
Enough said.
Okay, very bossy. I do have great direction, and I know, divinely inspired, but I said, let's test this out.
Yes.
It took 3 hours. And finally I said to her, I'm not the one for you.
Right. Yes.
I would say to you, get this all cleaned up right now.
Right.
Now. I'll call somebody to clean it all out. But you don't need that type of attention.
That's right.
I see from what we worked on for 3 hours, you need someone who's more specialized than me. Then let me call blah, blah, blah. And you get connected to her or him, and then you work that out. I said, I can still be here as your life coach on this side, no problem. But that right there, no, I will start acting like you my kid. Clean this room up right now. And that's not what you need. You need lasting. And then what you're saying is to share information properly, it needs to last. It needs to
Yeah.
not to be from your emotional part, because that's really
That's
for
right.
my emotions. Clean this up, right? I can't deal with this. No, clean it up.
Mhm.
That's emotional.
Mhm.
And that type of energy is fleeting. It comes just
That's
like
right.
electricity, and it turns right off just like
That's
electricity.
right.
So
Yes.
you want to be able to exercise that really well. I like how you said that. Now let's talk about like, so you now you got my business off
Mhm.
to a flying start. I'm working with Sister Girl with the
Yes. Yes. Y'all are collaborating.
yeah,
Yes.
we're collaborating. Now I come back to you. Our time is over. I come back to you and say, I want to take this to another level,
Mhm.
but I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. I've been collaborating. I haven't gotten over that $100,000 mark, and I've
Mhm.
been collaborating. What is the next thing you kind of take in account when you're the problem solver? If you're doing everything that was necessary, I'm doing everything
Mhm.
but now I'm stuck. What do
Mhm.
you examine next in me?
So next, we are looking at again, kind of what are those ways, and I kind of call it grow.
Okay.
So number one is kind of
Okay.
brainstorming your business model.
Okay.
Are there other areas that can be added to your business model?
Okay.
So you're kind of looking at what's your long-term goal? What is the long-term, gain you're wanting to have in the business?
Right.
Is it possible to license? Not franchise, but is it possible to maybe do some licensing? So
Right.
now you can create an army of
Right.
other entrepreneurs that are out there, like yourself,
Okay.
kind of with your, kind of growing their own business.
Right. Okay.
Also looking at what are the relationships that
Mm-hmm.
you need kind of to be able to grow. So are there other relationships that I know about and I have access to, whether it's potential venues, potential vendors that could help,
Right.
those sorts of things. What are the other opportunities? How do we grow your revenue? The opportunities to
Right.
grow your revenue. So is it a different types of marketing that need to be done?
Right.
Is it, and kind of first looking at first and foremost, we would have looked at those kind of free marketing resources and free
Right.
things that can be done. But what are some things that can be done from a marketing standpoint that are automated? Are
Mm-hmm.
you, have they built, an email list? Are you
Mm-hmm.
marketing to that email list? What different
Right.
automations do you have set up? Do you need to, as you're looking to expand, if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about expanding into another location or something like that,
Right.
what access do you have to business credit, and have you set yourself up for that? if
Mm.
if not, is the goal to, in the next 12 to 18 months, look at business expansion where you need to again start getting those credit and funding things in place.
In place. Yes.
So there's just a number of things that we look at.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, though, it's going to be brainstorming on what other revenue, what other business model options are there to add, looking at the relationships, again, that can add to expand your business, and looking at the opportunities to expand revenue, which a lot of times comes back to marketing, comes back to the finances, business credit, business funding, and things like that to be able to expand.
Okay. That sounds good. So you would then speak to them, and that's a because I know in my area of my
Mhm,
field, my
mhm,
area, we're both kind of like the mates
mhm,
stream, but I would examine their mindset. Okay,
mhm,
why you
mhm,
stuck? Because you're doing everything I told you to do, and I
mhm,
know it works.
mhm, mhm,
And it's not being pompous or anything like that, but I know that works. What's stopping you?
mhm,
Well, they would probably say to me, well, I'll say to them, take a piece of your business model. Have
mhm,
you talked to this part of your business?
mhm,
Well, no, because they may not respond to me well. Then I
mhm,
said, okay, that's you thinking that,
mhm,
stopping yourself from doing that. So
mhm,
you need to fix that, and no,
mhm.
we're going to affirm that you're going to talk to this set of people.
Right.
This these corporate people. I don't know,
Mhm,
not they might not accept,
mhm,
licorice ice cream and candy corn flavors. They might not
mhm,
accept that, No. We're going to talk to them about that. You're going to
Yeah.
change that mindset. And sometimes it does take mindset, especially dealing with, as we're talking, generational patterns,
Yes.
where it takes the change of a mindset because we're so set in our ways.
Right.
One of the things I want to talk to you about is a generational pattern of not asking for help.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you talk about that in your business, not asking for help as being a generational pattern?
Absolutely. And I look back again, kind of look back on with my own family.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't didn't really ask for a lot of help. Had a dad who was proud, kind of domineering, and he was like, I know what to do. I'm gonna get it. And then some of it was just a lack of trust in other people, in other cultures, in being able to get proper information.
Right.
So then you get kids that grow up in that and think that a lot of times we are taught, especially the Black community.
Right.
We've got a 17-year-old daughter. She graduated high school a year early. She's getting ready to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Just like my parents taught me, we instilled in her. And
right.
You've got to be 3 to 5 times better than other people.
Right.
To put your foot in the door.
That's right.
We
that.
all have that conversation with our kids.
Absolutely.
And then our parents had it with us.
Right.
And so I think we, especially Black and brown people, we're so used to, we just got to do it ourselves. We just got to do it on our own. And, if it's going to happen, we're just going to make it happen.
Right.
And when it comes to business, we don't realize that, we should not be an island. No one is an island. No. But we've got to, I don't think a lot of us are adept at surrounding ourselves with the right people.
No.
Because we listen to Aunt JoJo and, Aunt Suki, who never owned a business, Ray and Pookie, who never owned a business, telling us we can't make it while we're trying to do it. Right. And we don't surround ourselves with the right people, with the right intentions, with the right resources to be able to help us. Right. But again, we are not an island. A business owner, you can get there so much more quickly.
Right.
And not have it, not losing so much money and getting your business closed down because you didn't know what you were truly doing.
Exactly.
If you've got the right people supporting you.
Absolutely right. Mm-hmm. And I always say, if you're the smartest person in the room, get
another room.
Out.
Yep. Get you a new circle.
Get out.
Yes.
Hurry up and get out.
Yes.
Because there's repercussions. I lived that. Mm-hmm. And I was the smartest person in the room and everything fell on me and I became burnt out. And I was in a church setting, a church setting. And I couldn't believe when I started awakening, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the smartest person in the room. Right. I can't ask a high level question, even in the spirit realm. Right. They don't have the answer, and I would be put down for asking the question. Yeah. So there's what I'm saying. There's no growth. Yes. There's no growth. Yep. Right. No one can grow. Yes. The second part of what I liked about you, you said your friends, some friends, as long as you've known them, are not the friends you're supposed to take with you.
That's right. Yes.
You can know them since you were babies in diapers.
Yes.
But they're not the friends you can take to the next level in your purpose, in who you are. Right. They're just not the ones. They're not the ones.
That's right.
And I liked how, I thought about when you were talking, when you were saying all this, I envisioned Jesus walking, he had 12 friends, and then after a while he had a very few, and then he
had his inner circle. Yes.
Moving. He got very few. He knew, started finding out about this one, finding about that one, and then by the time he got to the end, he was all by himself.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
He was all by himself. So it's not about them and their issues. It's about when you really level up.
That's right.
What's happening with Jesus that's an example for us that he was leveling up. When he was going out to the Garden of Gethsemane,
yes,
he was meditating.
Yes. He was focused. Yes.
He was focused. He knew
Yes.
what he had to do.
Yep.
So he had his grapplings about him. So you know
Yes.
what? Let me go and get the plan, make a plan. Give me a
Yes.
plan.
Yes.
No, everybody else was tired and sleepy.
Right. That's right.
He went by himself.
That's
All
right.
those challenges he was going through was with his ego in his
Mhm.
own mind. His own
Right.
mind. All this was happening in his mind. Now he gets to going. One gets to, okay, no, this one's
Mhm.
going here for some money.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? He
Yes.
goes for
Yes.
money. The
Yes.
next one goes because he's scared, right?
That's right. That's right.
He goes because he's scared. And only one hangs in,
That's
but
right.
not really hangs in. I really love you, but I don't know if I'm willing to die for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
he gave, and that's what we got to do, is sometimes when we see that our walk is not their walk, we got to say to, friends, go.
Yeah. It's
Simple as
okay.
that.
It's
And it's
okay
okay.
to
Yeah,
to compartmentalize friends. That was hard for me to
exactly.
do too. It's
Yeah.
I'm saying that from a place where it was hard because we've got our I've got my ride or die women
Yeah,
that are just
me
ride
too.
or die
I do.
now. But some of those ride or die, I'm not talking business about.
No,
They're
no.
there to, again, they're there to really support me, but I'm not having
Social.
detailed business conversations because
Yeah.
they really just don't have something to add that
Right.
I'm going to need. They can cheerlead and encourage
Right.
me, but it's, for me, I found it's okay to kind of compartmentalize. Here's the
Yeah.
folks I can, hang
Yep.
out with and we go to dinner with.
That's
We
right.
kiki and laugh and have a good
Right. Kiki, and you let loose, the head down, act up, all
yes.
of that.
But here's
But
my
it comes to
inner
business, it's a
circle
whole
of
different area.
business friends that I
Yeah.
know I can go to and we can have business discussions and
Right.
they'll give me insight that I'm looking for.
Yeah. And you gotta, that's the circle, that's the, you have two different tribes. Let me just say. You have two different, you have the social, I have my three little friends and my friends, some friends I can't tell, like you said, can't tell them this because they don't know how to
Right.
process that,
Right.
and then, okay, I could tell this one, that one, but so you have those friends to kind of share that with, but then business wise, you can tell them as much as you want, but will they have the answer? Like I have one friend that I know if I'm splazzing out about something, just like, I don't know what to do. Like I'm stressed. I'm overstimulated, not stressed, overstimulated. I'll call her and I'll say this, and this. Okay, calm down. This is what you gotta do. Make sure you do this. And oh yeah, that's right. I knew you had the answer, but you need to calm down.
Right. They get,
and give you direction in the business world, and boom, the answer is there and it's done. And
right.
that's what you need. You need someone like that you can say, oh, yeah, you got cheerleaders, but you got someone who can give you the answer right on time.
Exactly.
And that's good,
Yes.
but there's this circle, the other circle we deal with, and that's the business realm where even, let's talk about we're getting so excited. I'm getting so excited talking to you, but the business realm, in the business realm, there are folks that we have to work with, and literally they're called mentors. They're our mentors that mentor us through what we have to do. Now, when it comes to volunteerism, and I know you probably volunteer,
yes,
a lot of positions.
How
do you, because in volunteerism, you have your friends that you hang out with, and you have the parliamentary part of the volunteerism. How do you separate that? Because that's in essence, it's still business. So how do you separate that?
Great that you brought that up. I have found, and I'm sure as you have too, Edna, in volunteering, that's been one of the hardest things for me to understand. So I sit on several nonprofit boards.
Right.
And there's a couple of them that, I have said, just because this is a nonprofit organization doesn't mean that we are not operating a business.
Right.
A couple of them are all women organizations. And I'm like, we still have to operate business. You can't get upset because the board decided not to implement the idea that you brought to the table.
Right.
It's a business decision.
Right.
I have learned to, again, took me a while, to protect my time in terms of the volunteerism. Because when you're busy, people are going to come to you because you get stuff done. You know people, you got connections, and
they're not busy. Replace that word with productive.
There you go. Okay, productive. Well, sometimes I can't lie. Sometimes I'm busy, and it's to no avail. I'm gonna be me to no avail. It's that busy one. But when you are productive, people want you to help in their organization.
Oh yeah, they want to help. Yeah.
And a lot of times we have a hard time saying no because we want to give of ourselves, and to us, we think when you can do things like that, it's like, okay, well, I'll do it, not a problem. And then you get burned out.
Yeah.
And so I have now learned to, in terms of volunteerism, to protect my time. Yeah. And even though I have, I have like 4 or 5 organizations now that I volunteer, I still always get asked to help. I will kindly let them know, at this moment in time, I'm sorry I cannot do that, but let me recommend somebody who I think would be a good fit to you. But you have the same thing in terms of volunteerism. You've got the people the parties who are going to be about business for that organization. And then you've got those where it may just be for them more of a social hangout, get together, and they're not very productive.
It's a hobby. Let me go around and do all this. There's a hobby. I'm gonna join all these organizations. This is a hobby.
Right.
And I find that to be very true. For my own self, I learned to say no maybe 10 years ago. Okay. And I learned to have no with a period, because I started out doing no with comma and
yes, that was me. Yes.
And it was like, look, I'm gonna turn it
right back. I'm coming right back.
it turned to a whole thing. Yes. And guess what happened after all that explanation? I started saying, I said,
well, I'll just do it then. I'll just do
it. I was all over it. So I started, thinking no is a statement.
So how did you do that?
Listen, so I realized that when you say no with exclamation, that's emotions, right? You're mad. So I don't ever get in a situation I'm going to say no unless it's, having a sexual partner and I don't feel like doing it, that kind of stuff, that kind of stuff, or saying like brutally no, like if somebody's begging me for money, no, and I feel kind of, violated, like they're too close.
Yes.
Okay. So, but then when I did the comma and I said, well, no, because I'm on other boards. They would take that as an opening. So when you say no with a comma, no, the no doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yep.
It avoids that. So it gives the brain of the other person you're talking to segue to say, oh,
yep.
But you know how good, and what they do, I'll say, no, I'm on other boards. Now that's not even a statement. That's just, and then they'll put a comma after boards and say, yeah, but this would make your boards even more better. And then before I knew it, I'm back at yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I decided to use the period and wait for, so I would go, no. And I literally take my tongue, put it between my teeth.
I bet that was awkward too, that awkward silence.
And silence my own self by biting my tongue. And they were like, they wouldn't say anything and just walk away.
I've got to start doing that.
And then I stopped doing, biting the tongue, because I was really like, I would see their expression, they would be let down, but I could serve better. Once I start saying no, I could serve better on 2 boards exponentially, than 5 boards half time. Yes. So I started choosing, what I was doing is choosing me. Yes. Because if you love horseback riding and you haven't done it, that means you're not seeing about yourself. And the Bible says we should come back to our first love.
Yes. It's
not God, because we operated in God before we knew there was a God, before we knew religion. We operated it. It's not God. It's us. When we were 5 years old, if we fell off the swing, we run upstairs. I know I did. Run upstairs. Mom, cut my leg, crying, and carry on, wipe all this, put the Band-Aid on. Guess what I'm gonna do? Guess what I'm gonna do? right out there, but on the same swing
Yep.
I just fell
Yep.
off on.
Yep. Yep.
Who was our first love? Because I know I could conquer this. I'm not going to fall again. I was
Yes.
not going to fall again.
Right.
That's where we got to get in our
Mm.
minds on any activity
Right.
we get. 5 years old. Every
I
time
like that.
I feel myself challenged,
I
5 years
like that.
old. I feel like I do anything. 5 years old.
Love that.
I could think of anything. 5 years old, I
Right.
go right back there. That was my place of comfort because I knew that I trusted myself. I
Yes.
trusted everything was going to be all right.
Mhm.
The other years, because people have given you all this stuff, just to put things inside
Yep.
of you.
Yes.
You're an open vessel,
Right.
So you're an open vessel or a sponge. Some
Mhm.
say sponge, some open vessel. You're
Mhm.
open.
Just
So
taking it
whenever
all in.
somebody's just like, okay, you're gonna be this, you're
Yep.
gonna be
And you
that.
just took it. Yep. Yep.
And you just like,
We take it.
okay. And then we get older. Somebody prophesy over and say, you're an evangelist, so you this. Okay, right? You do it.
Yes.
And then like,
Yes.
now what is an evangelist? What am I? You don't
Right.
know. When
Right.
you are in God's purpose, you know
Yes.
exactly what you're
Right.
gonna do. You know exactly what it is.
Yes.
So we get filtrated with all this stuff. So you can imagine
Mm.
a sponge that has not been changed. So you change your
Mm.
sponge every month, but a
Right.
sponge that has not
For
been changed
years, for decades.
decades.
Mm.
It's
Wow.
you can't even use it anymore. So can you
Wow.
imagine that? Can you imagine a
Mm.
bottle of Coke being filled with all this filth,
Wow.
all these things that the world has kind of given you? How do
Right.
you even separate it? You got to empty it out and start all over again.
That's right. Wow.
The Bible says that how can new wine go into
Or the
old
old
wine?
wineskins. Yes, ma'am.
Because
Yeah.
what happens when you put that new wine in there? It's potent,
Right.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It's going, and then you pour it in, it's going to bust the seams of an old
Right.
wineskin.
Right.
Old
Right.
wineskin,
Mm.
old ideas, old views,
Mm.
old things
Yes.
that we need to throw this bag out. This old
Right.
wineskin and throw it out and get another one and put the new in there, and that
Right.
way we can work it. We don't think like that. We don't
That's
do
right.
those things. And it's important that we do them. I could talk to you all day, and I think I will in another time because you could be a
Yes,
wine
ma'am.
now.
Yes.
We're doing the same thing, and it's so important that we talk about these things. And
Right.
I'm going to have you back. I really am going to have you back.
Well, I
And we,
already see where we need to collaborate, because I do
yes,
like a lot of the external kind of stuff with the businesses, but I see where you also do a lot of that internal kind of
there you
that
go.
mindset. So no, we're gonna be talking so we can
Yeah, we're going to
collaborate.
be talking. So how can my audience find you? How can they find you?
Yes.
Social media.
So social media, you can find me on Instagram, Teri
Okay.
Moton _MBA, and it's TERI MOTEN _MBA. I'm also on LinkedIn. Again, you can find me under Teri Moton. I'm
Okay.
on Facebook, so you can find my business page, Teri Moton, your business problem solver. Also, I'm now on, much to the chagrin of my daughter, on Instagram and TikTok, and my
Yeah.
website is Teri Moton MBA. Again, it's TERIMOTENMBA.com.
Wonderful. So we've given the audience so much information, so much like diamonds, and I don't even say jewels. I'm gonna name them diamonds, rubies, pearls. We gave them everything. Now I want you to give us a final thought for the day. What could you give the audience, the final thought?
So my final thought for business owners, for aspiring business owners, is understand just something we said earlier. You don't have to be an island. You have people who are out there who want to support you, who want to help you, who have the resources and the information, but you've got to open up and also go look for it and be discerning when you
Right.
decide to work with somebody, but don't be an island. Get the help so you can exponentially grow your business.
Absolutely. Well, this brings us to the end of the show. And I really thank you for joining us today, Teri Moton. And this is Edna White, your host, saying bye for now with my esteemed guest, Teri Moton. Bye for now.
Thank you, Edna. Bye-bye.